This is a serious issue. I feel like if we don't spend time on this, then
Yeah.
well, first of all, I'm just afraid what I'm trying to avoid is other people finding this on their own.
Sure.
People are probably confused what we're talking about. We'll get into it in just a second.
And
But
there is an Ask Todd answer about TikTok also.
Yeah, I saw that you posted that a while back, that someone asked you about TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had a good answer. As always, your answer was enlightening and
I think so.
gentle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've already got people jumping in, so I feel like we should probably get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ask Todd Live. Recently I've been kind of dropping the ball in terms of making sure that I communicate what this sort of is. And Todd's kind of reminded me that that's my really only role in this, is just to let you all know what this is about. So
let me just jump in there by saying that, like, I'm used to carrying the burden of this show. Like, that's not something that I'm is new to me or anything. But that doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that that's how we should be doing it. So
yeah, it's not like at the start of every single American Idol, the contestant has to come out and well, I guess you're more Simon Cowell in this case, but Simon Cowell doesn't come out, introduce the show. There's Ryan Seacrest. I'm Ryan Seacrest and you're Simon Cowell. Yeah, I'm Ryan Seacrest.
I'm more of a Paula Abdul, but sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're always wondering what's in that Coca-Cola glass that you have on your desk. What's really going, yeah. And I happen to know that it probably is just Coke Zero from spending like the amount of time I've spent with you. It's most likely Coke Zero.
Well, let's just say this is not product placement, by the way.
We're gonna have to take this one down because we can't show that on YouTube, I think.
Have a Coke Zero. Zero sugar.
We have a great question in the chat already, but before we get into that question, I really quickly just want to introduce. So for those of you who have never tuned in before, welcome to Ask Todd Live. The purpose of this show is really to help you gain enlightenment. So you come with your questions, and then I usually ask your questions kind of on your behalf. And then Todd will answer your questions, and thus by giving you the knowledge that you're looking for, you will achieve absolute nirvana is sort of what we're going for with this show. That's the theme. So you've probably
we aren't legally allowed to say, because of a certain band from the 90s, we aren't allowed to say that, remember? But you will achieve some sort of spiritual perfection.
Exactly. Yeah. So do exactly what Nick Morrill did. Put your questions in the chat. We will answer those for you. A few people do have the privilege of being able to kind of talk into the microphone. For example, sometimes we like to get a Madeline Reed on things. And when we do that, we like for Madeline to kind of unmute herself and add her thoughts on things. But until we get to that portion of the show today, let's ask this first question here from Nick. Todd, are you considering any Simon Cowell-esque plastic surgery in order to compete with Tyler's boyish good looks?
Okay. Thanks so much for writing in, Nick. And I just want to start by saying that it was very uncomfortable for me how much Tyler enjoyed reading that. Like the smile at the end of it was downright shameful. And he should feel embarrassed. And I hope he does. That being said,
I do.
Okay, great. That being said, I'm not a proponent of plastic surgery. And for me, I think that for other people, like, do your thing. If that's what makes you feel beautiful, there's a song by One Direction, and it's they're one of my favorite bands that's ever been banned. And I think that they actually began in a show that's sort of like American Idol, but for British people, which is probably called like, I don't know, American Talent or something like that,
Yeah,
but
I don't think it would have America in the title. Feels like that wouldn't be in the title.
Well, I think it would be, because I think that that's like, there's a big draw for American television,
Gotcha.
like even internationally, like people love American television shows. So like, I would think that they would probably want to keep that part and then maybe just change the Idol part. I think it makes a lot of sense. But
Totally.
So there's this song by that band, by 1D, And Harry Styles sings the second verse of it and also the bridge. And it's called What Makes You Beautiful. And it's all about how plastic surgery can make you beautiful. And it's not so much about what's in the inside, but what's on the outside. And so although
Mm,
I personally am against plastic surgery for myself, because I do feel like I'm kind of like, it's a bit like trying to put glitter on the Mona Lisa. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like it's already pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
people are already coming from around the world to look at it. Is glitter cool? Sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sparkly. Like it draws your eye, but it's also the Mona Lisa, you know? So I'm not going to be doing it, but I do understand how if you don't have a great personality or something, yeah,
Right.
make up for it and get those, get those crow's feet taken care of, and let's smooth out that face.
It's got to be hard for you being sort of the, how do you say, like the full package, you know, like that's got
Right.
to be a tough thing for you because
Sure.
you've got the personality, you've got the charm, you've got the
Sure.
good looks, you know, you don't need
Hmm.
the plastic surgery. That's got to be, it's like when, at what point is it, at what point does it get difficult for you sort of to balance all of those things out and live
Yeah.
up to the expectations that people kind of put on you, Todd?
So this is sort of the existential question, right? Because I've only lived my life. Um, I've only experienced life through this vessel, with this charm, with this intelligence, and I haven't, like, I don't have anything to compare it to. I can imagine that it would suck, you know, to not be charming. I can imagine it would suck if you aren't like as humble as I am and stuff. But I don't know, because I'm
Yeah,
kind of
you
awesome,
can't
you know.
see that. Yeah. Yeah. Todd, how long
Yeah,
is Madeline Reed, one of our sort of mainstays on the show here, kind of
sure.
like a B-list character on the show? She wants to know how long is socially acceptable to go between showers? How long is socially
Sure.
acceptable? I'm sorry, to go between
Sure.
showers.
Yeah, so this is an interesting question, Madeline. Thanks so much for writing in. First of all, I'll say that showers, generally speaking, aren't social things. Like, I guess,
Right.
I don't know. Okay, I don't want to judge. I don't know what your situation is. I do realize that, there are situations. Some people like to shower at the Y, I think,
Hmm.
which is probably more of a social thing. But people, like, I don't think most of the time, people are going to know how recently you showered and stuff. And so it's not so much of a social thing as maybe uh, smelling bad, would be socially unacceptable. And I think that if you can stave off the sneaky smells, or just stay away from other people, you can go as long as you want, you know. Um, and also the answer is 3 days,
Yeah.
just in
Also
case
that.
just in case that wasn't clear. You can
Yeah,
go
because
three
this is
days
one of those ones that you got to be kind of, you know, people are gonna. You don't want them to misconstrue that. Like
Right.
3 days. 3 days. Yeah.
But it's also all about what kind of lifestyle you're living, Madeline. Like, if you ask me, I bet you spend a lot of time in that chair playing video games. Um,
Right.
I'm guessing you don't break a sweat that much. Um,
Yeah.
and so you might be able to go a little bit longer than someone lives a very active lifestyle, who's out there, at Venice, at Muscle Beach in Venice, pumping iron in the sun, in the hot sun. Get out of here. You know what I mean? You're probably fine, Madeline. Cheers.
Todd, we had a question from Mitch as well.
Yeah.
How have you ever grown your hair out?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mitch. Thanks for asking that. And are you in the
Yeah,
garage, Mitch? That's cool.
there's a car in the background of your. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I have kind of grown in, and I guess it depends on what you mean. Like, I haven't ever gone like here or anything like that. But also, my hair doesn't really go down like Tyler's does. Mine kind of goes out.
Mm, helmet
And
hair.
I'm sorry.
Would you say that you have helmet hair?
I would not.
Okay. Okay.
And And so, let's just show you a picture real quick. I think I've probably got a picture here of like the longest ish my hair has been.
Okay.
Let's see if we can pull it up real quick.
While Todd's pulling that up, anyone
Yeah.
who isn't familiar with the concept of helmet hair, you look up pictures of Michael Landon. He was the lead on Little House on the Prairie. He has what I would consider to be the sort of classic helmet hair style. It's essentially a shield of hair that grows around your head as opposed to down. And Michael Landon has passed away, but he didn't pass away from any kind of blunt force trauma, because it would be absolutely impossible for that to occur with his hair.
See, now, and I guess this is an interesting question, because you're I guess defining helmet hair by what the hair looks like. I'm defining helmet hair by what a helmet would do to your hair.
Right. Yeah, there's common misconception on that. Yeah. There's two different kinds of helmet hair, sort of like how there's Protestants and Catholics. There's two schools of thought when it comes to helmet hair, and the road splits pretty severely down the middle. So there's hair that has been sculpted and shaped by a helmet. So you may see that with BMX bikers, or with skateboarders, or rollerbladers might have helmet hair. And then there's the other school of thought, which is the hair that becomes the actual helmet. And you'll notice that with those folks, wearing the helmet is actually not as important, because they don't need one. They don't need the helmet because of the hair.
This is some great content we've got going here today, by the way. I just want to make sure
this
that
is good stuff.
I want to make sure everyone is grasping just how good this information is, because you won't find a book with this in it. Like, you won't. You can look. You can go to the Barnes and Noble, or the or you can go in a time machine and go to one of the Borders or something like that. But you're not gonna find this information, And so it's kind of fun for you, I think, probably. Man,
Carrie's really liking it. I can tell Carrie's digging the content a lot today. She's all smiles.
Okay, so this one you can kind of see how long my hair is in it. I guess.
Yeah. I can see that's a little bit long. Yeah. You were blonde then too. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. So that was sure. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
Oh, here you can kind of see too. Like, it's really going down there. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty long.
Totally. Yeah.
I don't look my best in these pictures, which is why my hair is not as long as it used to be.
I like how you're really doing the Elliott Smith look. That's really what you were going for, I think.
You know what? I was, and you know what? One of the pictures I was going to show you was this one right here, where not only is my hair like kind of the Elliott Smith length, but that's the figure 8 cover.
That's the figure 8 cover. Yeah.
From Elliott Smith's album Figure 8.
If you're really looking, anyone who's unfamiliar with Elliott Smith, if you're really looking for a pick-me-up today, if you're feeling kind of down and you want something to just kind of make your day a little bit more bubbly, look up Elliott Smith's music. Feel good. Maybe
start with a fun jam like Everything Means Nothing to Me. That's a very fun one.
When I'm feeling down and I just need a little bit of sunshine in my day, I'll play Miss Misery. And just remember to kind of pick up my step a little bit more,
Yeah.
We saw Thea for a hot second there, and then
she's there. She's there.
Well, but her background was back to being. I noticed her background wasn't a lizard anymore. She went back to her background being a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when we were kind of having that conversation last time around, Thea. That was sort of a lifelong kind of thing. Like, if you were going to do it, you were doing it for life, in my opinion.
I see. Well, it is my dog's birthday last week, so that's why it's birthday week.
All
so
right. We'll give you a buy on that one then. That's
awesome. Are you a James Joyce fan, Thea?
Nope.
Okay. Why Finnegan?
He came with his name.
Oh, how creative. Okay, cool.
He was adopted at 3.5, so I didn't really have much of a say in it.
My parents changed my name at 4.5, so you can do it at any point.
Okay.
What was your name originally, Todd?
Carol.
Carol?
Carol.
Carol. Okay. What prompted why the shift?
I think that my parents were afraid that kids would tease me at like Christmas time. because I think that like, they'd be like, oh, it's Christmas Carol, or something like that. And
that would be the mockery, would be
because
the Christmas
it's not just a
connection.
proper noun. Yeah, because it's not just a proper noun. It's
Sure.
also just a normal noun. And no one wants to have a name that's just a normal noun. You know what I mean? That's like being called shoe or table, or mark. So
yeah,
I think that's why they switched it up to Todd.
Makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Let's folks, let me just remind you that this show is clearly only as good as the questions that you submit. So let's bump up the quality a little bit and get some more questions in the chat.
And I don't know if I agree with that assessment.
It's pretty clear.
Definitely,
it's pretty obvious.
Let's get the questions in there. But also, I think that I've done a great job at carrying shows regardless of the quality of the questions. And I get, Tyler, that maybe you feel like you're part of the job, like you're maybe not as good at it. But I do think that I can carry a good show. We got a question from Nick. You want to bring it up there, Tyler?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Todd, do you have something you want to say to my brother Table? I don't think he'd appreciate your comments.
Yeah,
yourself in a little bit of hot water on that one, Todd. Might want to try to clear that up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I do have something to say. First of all, hey, Nick, I just want to make sure Table knows I'm not scared of him. Okay.
Yeah.
Bring it, dude. I don't know if you hablas español, Mesa, but I don't give a heck. You know what I mean? If I can use that language. But because here's the thing with Table. Like we've had a little bit of beef in the past, and we kind of like, we were on the same basketball team for a while. I don't know if you know this, Tyler, that me and Table and I played on the same. Yeah, so we played on the same basketball team for a while. But what happened was like he just had this thing where he couldn't like stay on his like feet very steadily all the time. And so we'd be like driving down the court, and then he would like wobble a little bit, and then he'd go down. And I was getting so frustrated, and I was like, Table, what is your deal? And he was like, well, there's nothing I can do. And I was like, yeah, there is, man. We just put some napkin under your shoe, and then like it'll like steady you out a little bit. Out. But then as soon as I did that, like it affected his other leg a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And like, anyway, like just in a competitive sense, it was just really hard. It was really hard to be on a team with him. And anyway, that, I guess what I would say, Nick, is that I hope everything's going well with him. I really do wish him the best.
Yeah.
And I'm also sorry for the last thing that I said to him. And he'll know what that means. So yeah.
This was a roller coaster ride, this response, because
sure.
You had us at the first half, you had us thinking that maybe there's some animosity going on there.
Right.
And I don't want to speak for everyone on the call today, but I'm going to. I think we were all really touched by that. I mean, Kelsey looks like she's about to lose it. She's close to tears.
Sure.
Madeline's always kind of a little bit emotionally cold towards us, but I can see a little bit happening there on her face as well.
Sure.
So thanks for getting vulnerable and getting real with us on that last one.
You know what? I've found that it's often the greatest relationships have the biggest peaks and valleys. And it's not, I can't, if I really care about someone, I won't just say I like them. I will say I like them, I love them, I hate them. You know what I mean? Like
all at once, kind of.
It has to kind of be all at once to really feel for someone. So
it's just good to know that your relationship with Table hasn't plateaued. So Madeline has a question for us. Hey
it's got
again,
legs.
Todd.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. Hey again, Todd. While this relates to an age-old question that you've already answered, I'd like to know: would you rather be a horse-sized duck or a hive mind of duck-sized horses? I like that's a twist on an old classic. I like that, Madeline. It's a great one.
Yeah. Wow. That is a great question, Madeline. And
really,
I think that sometimes I've stayed away in this channel of talking about sort of my experiences on the islands, before I came to Procore, you know, of course I was an apprentice to Dr. Moreau on his island, and
right.
And you know, we did some messed up shit. You know, I'm sorry, excuse the language. We did some abominations to animals, and
absolutely
not to
no
them.
sugarcoating this. Yeah, this is. I've seen some of the pictures.
Yeah, it's some pretty gruesome stuff, and we shot it all in black and white, which really doesn't help.
Right.
But yeah, so you know, some of the experiments we did with ducks and horses, and even bees and ducks and horses, you know, where we took the bee consciousness and we moved it into a bunch of horses, tiny horses that we made. Well, they're basically normal sized horses, their bodies were, but their feet were just little duck you know, feet, and so they were really close to the ground, and their bellies would just get so raw from all day just rubbing against the ground, but it was kind of cute because the feet would be like trying to go toward water, because like the feet like have like that hive mind, you know, but the horse is like, no dude, I'm a land thing, and the duck's like, nah bruh, the duck feet are like, nah bruh, we're into the water. And so the feet would be like going toward the water, but the head of the horse is looking back like, no, I'm a land thing, I'm terrestrial, you know. But then like you just see this horse just in the water, and then if you could see below, you could just see little, you know, feet like that. So my answer, of course, is the hive mind of duck-sized horses, and that's because,
of course,
I mean, I think there's something to be said about just being able to control a disconnected part of yourself. You know, it's kind of like a quantum entanglement. It's kind of what Procore does too. You know, it connects, you know, field and office, two things that are separate, but also connected with this wonderful system that we sell. You know, and I just love it when we can just bring it back to construction technology. So duck-sized horses with a hive mind is my answer.
Yeah, duck-sized horses, the hive mind is basically a platform. Right. So I feel like, and if you haven't done your platform pitch already, Todd, that would just about sell me on the product right there.
Right. And I haven't done mine. But that's because I am, you know,
on your way out, about to
on my way out.
leave it, out the door, nearly 1 foot out the door. Yeah. I'll just talk about some of your, you know, I'm glad that we're kind of getting into a different aspect of you that people don't often hear about. We don't talk about some of your scientific endeavors and experimentations in the past. And, you know, it's something that, like, to my chagrin, we don't really go into it very often, because I really do think that there's a lot of things to unpack here. And we've been doing that a little bit today. So I want to go back to a topic that you and I talk about almost constantly. Text messages nearly all night long about this subject, but it's virtually never shown up in the show. And that is your progress in the field of flubber technology and where you're at with that currently. Because and if I remember the game that you played with Table, that final game that you two played, you put flubber in his shoes. And I remember him sort of bouncing all over the place. And, you know, and the announcers being kind of like blown away by it, you know, and but you still won the game, which is all that really matters, of course, and no one was any the wiser. Flubber technology, where have you landed on that with your research? Fill us in. I know that Carrie wants to know.
Sure. Where have I landed on it? My flubber technology never really lands like I want it to. You know what I mean? It's always taken off again. But you know, well, here's the crazy thing about this is, like, when NASA tapped me to develop this, you know, I was
their hand shot right off of you when they tapped you, probably, you know, as a little flubber joke. Sorry,
this was before we had developed it. This was before I developed it.
Okay, right. Okay, all right. Sorry.
But they, NASA tapped me to do this, and I was like, look, I've already got some other stuff going on right now, and they were like, this is like super important, like, you know, the future of America depends on this. And I was like, I'll do it if you stop bugging me about it, you know, which is, I don't know. Anyway, that's just a whole other thing. But I guess my heart was just never really in it, you know. And I know that we've talked about it extensively because, you know, I think that for a while you were just a very big fan of the idea just because of the name you said sounded silly, right?
Yeah, I think like I would buy whatever flubber was, I'd buy it on the merit of the name. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, which is interesting because when they asked me to develop it, they were actually just asking me to develop like insulated spacesuits. And and they said, and it's called flubber. And I was like, that doesn't sound like what flubber is going to be, you know?
Yeah. How
And
does that, what is, yeah.
sometimes the name of the thing informs what it is. And that's called nominative, what's it, predisposition? What is that? Doesn't matter.
Let's get a Madeline read on that one. Madeline, what do you think that word is?
You know what word I'm going for? Determinism. Nominative
there
determinism.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
It was on the tip of her tongue.
And it's, you know, it's kind of like when my parents named me Carol, and then my favorite holiday was Christmas. And I don't think I was, well, yeah, I mean, and then they changed it to Todd, which of course is the Old English word for fox. And, you know, I think you can see how that turned out, right?
Yeah, Todd, we have a couple minutes left and a few more questions in here, so I want to make sure we get to these. Hey, Todd, what are your Slack/text pet peeves? Mitch January wants to know that one as he inhales the fumes from his mom's car in the garage there.
Yeah, very fun. Yes, it is. Real quick, it is why the Fox and the Hound's name is Todd. Anyway, so I will give one for each because I do have, like, off the top of my head, the Slack pet peeve I have is when someone says, "Hey, Todd," and then they don't write anything for like the next 15, 20 minutes. Because I'm the kind of person who I always check whatever message it is, like immediately if I can. I don't like to have unread things. And so I'll like go in there and I'll like kind of stop what I'm doing for a second, like, what's up? You know, what's up? What's up? And then they just like sit there. And it's like a child walks into my room and goes, excuse me. And I'm like, what? And it's like, excuse me. And I'm like, okay, what? You know what I mean? It's just frustrating. Text messages, a little bit different. Not that different though. It's when someone asks me a question, like, hey, how was your day? And then I can see them typing. And I get the bubbles. Like, are you asking me how my day was? Or are you just starting a conversation with how was your day so that you can tell me about how your day was?
Totally.
And that is very frustrating.
You know, don't want to rush here, but we do have one more question. I want to make sure we get to it. Hey, Todd, this is from Thea. Hey, Todd, what are your thoughts on off-leash dogs on trails that the law requires dogs to be on leash?
Okay. Man, I really feel like we could have worded that sentence probably better, but I will say, but let's not dwell on that.
Right. Let's just move forward.
Yeah. Let's do our best. Yeah. You know, look, this is not my place. I feel like as someone who doesn't have a dog, it's tough for me to weigh in on this because I'm not crazy about a strange dog running up and sniffing my crotch. I'm not crazy about that. Like I'll tell you that right now. And especially during COVID, like, you know, I don't really want someone's dog where I don't know where this dog has been. And then this is where it's going, you know, like I'd rather there be a little bit of control. And I feel the same way about like, you know, anything as someone's child too. You know, I don't want someone's kid running up to me and wiping his snot nose on my $2,300 pants. You know, so my point is like children, dogs, leashes. Let's get them all on leashes.
Your pants are $2,300? You have $2,300 pants?
Come on. Yeah.
Why? Yeah, Job. The guy in the $2,300 pants. Yeah.
Come on. All right, it's 1:30.
Hey, well done. Another great episode.
Felt like it went quick. Yeah.
That one flew by. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for asking such great questions.
Thanks everyone for asking such.
Okay, you want to? Yeah, you can go ahead. You can close it out. It's your show. It's your name.
You go ahead.
No, it's fine. Carol, say whatever you want to say. Get it out of your system.
I've asked you not to call me that.
Yeah.
It's not my name anymore. Hey everyone, thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you next week. Remember to ask your questions in the channel. I think I'm also going to start an Instagram account for Ask Todd. That's something that started this week. I'll fill you in on that. Stay tuned. Have a good weekend.
Bye, everybody.